In-laws, up to what extent should you allow your in-laws to get involved with your life? Diba?
Hindi tayo marunong dati makinig. Palaging kung sino yung tama. Parang kung sino dapat manalo.
Pag nililigawan ka ng isang lalaki o magiging asawa mo, gagawin niya lahat para makuha ang prize.
Pero kung halimbawa talagang hirap ka na makipagkasundo, bukas na kayo mag-usap.
Hi, I'm Anthony Pangilinan.
And I'm Maricel, Laxa-Pangilinan.
And welcome to our home and back to this podcast, the podcast of Marriage is a Marathon, inspired by this book. All right. So, we're on episode 5. We're talking about now reviewing the route. Okay, so just as a review, we are already on reviewing the route. MAR, yung una po is making a decision, and then allowing time for preparation. MAR, reviewing the route.
Okay, of course, we're talking about marriage is a marathon, and we are trying to form the word marathon.
With you. Of course, may mga singit na episodes like yung isa, paborito ata ng iba, yung paano kami nag-away, the first major fight. And
then, of course, there was the introduction.
Sige, so let's start with this. Reviewing the route of a marathon or of marriage. Let me just read from the book. From The Art of War. Parang may gera, no? Diba? Parang nag-aaway. Sun Tzu. We are not fit to lead an army on the march unless we are familiar with the face of the country. Its mountains, forests, pitfalls, precipices, its marshes, swamps. So alamin ang terrain. Diba? If you will survive war, or in this case, marriage. Let me ask you, sa mga rota ng mga marathon, what would you say was one of your favorite, unforgettable routes?
For me, it would be really Boston.
Okay.
Why is it my favorite? Because it was my last.
Mm-hmm.
And I had hoped to conquer it for so long. I waited 5 years to conquer it. And when I finally had the chance to run Boston, Hannah walked me through every single thing that I would expect in the route. Where the hydration is, where the hills are, where I can go downhill, where I can rest, where I can
How could you do
go
that
forward.
if you ran it together? O nauna ba siya?
No, we trained first.
Okay,
We
so
trained together.
but
so
how could
that
she brief you if she didn't run it yet?
She didn't run it yet, but we had a guide.
Okay, so nag-aral na siya.
Pinag-aralan na namin lahat ng mga altitudes and peaks and
Parang art of war nga.
everything else about it. Where the hydration is, where the bathrooms are, where to get those goodies from.
Ang natatandaan ko lang sa Boston, the last 100 meters, hindi na ako makalakad.
You were cramping all over.
Yeah, because I was injured when I ran that. So it wasn't really the route that was for me an issue. It was my condition.
But
Diba?
for me, it was the most liberating experience of having run a marathon because I knew the route so well. I could picture it in my mind because every time we would practice and train for it, Hannah would remind me, Mom, this is Heartbreak Hill.
Yeah.
Mom, this is where you
Yeah.
rest. This is downhill. Oh my gosh.
Ang alam ko
I
lang dyan
wish-
is wag mong bilisan, di ba?
I wish that
Yung
I had
quads
done
mo.
it for my other races. For example, in New York, I would have loved to really study every single borough. So yung borough po is the 5 bridges of New York. And if I had studied them very well, I would have really enjoyed it much more than endure the pain.
You should waze the
The
maze.
maze.
So you'll be amazed.
Amazed.
Ako, paborito ko. Guys, Bordeaux Marathon. Okay? Marathon du Médoc. Kasi doon po you have to run through the different vineyards in the south of France, in the Bordeaux region. So I was with Kim, Raymond Racasa, Gilbert, Remulia, who else? Yael, di ba? Of Caril. And rota, simple lang. Dadaan ka sa mga vineyards, kailangan kang uminom ng wine. At kailangan mong kainin yung kanilang mga prepared appetizers if you even welcome their hospitality. So, prepared ako. Diba? Kasi
Yeah, how
dito
did you
pa lang.
train for it
Of
nga?
course, here in our village, diba? I would run and then every kilometer, konting sip ng wine. Para masanay yung katawan. And I think we're about 20,000 runners, something like this. And halfway through that race, yung kalahati lasing na. Hindi na makatakbo.
But the beautiful experience for that route was just really the community coming together to enjoy the most wonderful wines that each of the vineyards would just present to
Yes,
you.
yes. And it's so important that you appreciate both. The tough part, which is the running, but also the pleasurable part, which is the drinking. So for me, ano siya, parang left-right brain combination, which is life. Sometimes you have to be logical, right? You gotta be precise, systematic, step by step, right? Talagang bilang lahat ang takbo mo, kilometro. But there are also moments when you have to relax and rest and enjoy, right? And just fellowship with community. And that marathon for me is a combination.
And all these things apply to life in general, whether you're married, you're single, or whatever stage you are in your life.
Review the route. A route that, for me, the most difficult was not Boston. For me, the most difficult route was Jerusalem.
Oh my gosh. I remember when you crossed the finish line. You look like Moses.
Oo nga.
After coming
Well, ikaw,
out
ako
of the
mukhang
Red Sea.
ikaw feeling mo galing Red Sea Moses. Ako feeling ko, sinabayan ko si Jesus sa crucifixion. No, because if you look at the Jerusalem Marathon, talagang elevation-wise, para kang paakyat ng tinatawag na Mount Scopus, tapos babagsak ka ngayon, papunta ng Gethsemane, talagang magdudusa ka, and then towards the end, para kang with the Lord towards the cross and the crucifixion. Different routes, different experiences, but the common thing here is kailangan mo pag-aralan. Diba? At sa marriage, ganun din.
Pag-aralan, paghandaan, tapos enjoyin.
Kasi merong common stages ang building marriage in terms of stages. And Bruce Tuckman has this stages of developing a team, and a marriage is a team, right? Which we featured in our book. Okay? So, pag-usapan natin yon. And please reflect as we go through these different stages. Anong stage na kayo? Kasi halos lahat daw ng mag-asawa pinagdadaanan yung 4 o may dagdag ng pang-5. Okay? The first stage is the norming stage. Right? Kakasimula nyo pa lang. O tinawa, may mga nagtatanong na meron tayong phone-in question, di ba? So the norming stage is the beginning. So you set what? Rules.
Guidelines.
How to use the bathroom. Diba?
Where your clothes should be.
O yun. Tapos, paano nyong i-entertain ang mga kaibigan? Nako, diba?
Or anong araw yung dedicated sa family niya at sa family mo.
In-laws.
Yeah.
Up to what extent should you allow your in-laws to get involved with your life? Diba? And then even as a Christian couple, so saan tayo magsisimba? What church are we gonna go to? How often will we attend Bible studies? Mga ganyan. So this is the norming stage. Is there anything that you recall that is most significant pagdating sa ating norming stage sa pagiging asawa?
It was actually a defining moment for us to understand sino ang in charge sa ano.
Oh!
Kasi
tama. Nako.
noong una, akala natin sa ating introduction sa isa't isa, in our new home, syempre, ako yung in charge sa everything, like the menu, the normal things that a housewife would do. And ikaw naman dapat
ng
yung
bahay, ayusin ang mga furniture, furnishings, di ba? Make it a welcome space, and then making sure na okay naman ang kainan.
Yes, and ikaw dapat yung mga hardware stuff, right? But we realized early on that I'm actually good at taking care of handling the hardware.
Yes.
And you
Pag
are
sira
very
ang
good in
air
beautification.
conditioning, pag hindi umaandar ang computer, akala ko kaya ko, pero siya pala ang mas magaling doon. Medyo na-insecure ako kasi ang galing ko is flower arrangement, di ba? Rearranging the furniture, and then doing some dishes in the kitchen na kahit nga tikoy lang, hirap ka eh, di ba? It was, at first, it was an issue because I'm the man of the house, di ba? And Maricel's the woman. But we realized, no, wait. Maricel grew up in a home na single mom, di ba? Which means you did everything with your mom.
Yes, I was her assistant.
Di ba? Kaya, pati mga hardware, alam na niya. Because no father in the house, you have to do it together. Ako naman, I grew up in a house na medyo normal, right? And so, I expected that kind of sharing, pero hindi pala. Pero saan nanggaling yung aking kaalaman pagdating sa flower arrangement and furniture rearrangement? Eh kasi naman I took architecture. And in architecture, I had 2 years of interior design.
Nice.
Right? Diba? Kaya design ng bahay, paggawa ng kurtina, ako yun! Diba? That was me. And initially, hindi natin tanggap yun.
Yeah, so that was nga a defining moment for us in our start of our marriage.
Because you have to go back to the...
Norming stage.
You have to go back to the background. Ano bang pinagdaanan? Good, bad, and ugly ng asawa mo. Right? And you assign the role to the person who can do it. Not the traditions you have to follow. Okay. Norming tayo. We are forming rules. Merong isang rule that we struggled with. May nagbigay sa amin ng 10 commandments for a successful marriage. Diba? Nilagay natin yun sa ating headboard. Diba? 10 commandments for a successful marriage. Nakasunod doon. Rule number 5. Never sleep without settling an argument. Eh gusto namin ng successful marriage. Kaya sinundan namin ang commandment. And for the first 6 months,
hindi kami natulog.
we never slept. OMG! Pagod na kami. And then it was only, ito na naman, in a counseling session that we realized, ano ba? Sino bang gumawa ng rule na yan? Hindi naman nasa Bible yan, di ba?
Wala. Ano yung totoong nasa Bible?
Never sleep or never let the sun go down with anger.
With anger.
In your heart.
Ibig sabihin,
Huwag ka matutulog na galit.
Huwag kang galit. Pero kung halimbawa talagang hirap ka na makipagkasundo, eh bukas na kayong mag-usap.
You don't have to settle kasi nangyayari kadalasan sa mag-asawa. O sige na, I forgive you. O ganon. O sige, sorry na.
Ganito
kasi
pa nga
naman, pagod na kayo,
na.
alas 2 na ng maga, no?
Sorry na ha, sorry na.
Yun. Pero hindi naman talaga nasa-settle, right? Naiipon lang yon. So it's so important that you review some of your traditions na minsan siguro nanggaling sa pamilya o sa mga magulang o sa lola't lolo na hindi naman pala bagay, hindi naman pala totoo. So now we've learned that there are times you can't settle the problem at night and you just have to say good night kasi alas 3 na may seminar ka pa ng alas 8. Di ba? So, di pa to okay. So, good night.
Good night.
Okay. Tulog na!
Bukas na kayo mag-usap.
Norming. Okay? Now, they say, after norming, ito na tayo. The next stage is storming. But dito, yung uniqueness ng bawat couple lumalabas. Kasi sa atin, storming kagad and bilis eh. Right? It's like we fought immediately. And you know why? You know why I think about it now? Because counseling taught us to address issues head on.
Yeah, early on.
Diba?
Also.
So we embraced this idea na huwag talikuran ng problema, harapin. Ang problema, hinarap namin lahat na problema at ng issue na aming buhay. So early on, there was storming. This is when, ito na, nagka-clash na. Kasi ito yung background mo, ito yung background ko. Ano ba yung mga reason ng mga clashes natin? What was... This is when
No, we're both kasi strong-willed. Hindi tayong marunong dati makinig. Palaging kung sino yung tama. Parang kung sino dapat manalo.
Okay. Tsaka ano, sorry ha, pero kailangan ko sabihin to. May pagpapanggap na nangyari. Di ba?
Kaya,
May papanggap na nangyari. Tama ba? Kasi naman, nung una kong dinidate si Maricel, nag-adjust siya sa akin. Grabe. Sobra. Remember? Outgoing ako, naging outgoing. Kaibigan
hindi ko
ko.
naman yung sinasadya.
Pero, so, pinakilala ko sa mga kaibigan. Kaibigan niya. Tapos, may kampanya kung saan ako punta siya. Di ba? Sinabayan niya ako sa lahat na ginagawa ko sa buhay. You know, I said, wow, a person who completely relates and adjusts and embraces who I am and what I do. Tapos, nung kinasal na kami, hindi na siya extrovert. Nung kinasal na kami, ayaw na makita ng mga kaibigan ko. Tapos ayaw niya nang puntahan yung mga lugar na pinupuntahan ko. OMG!
Hindi pampapanggap yun.
Nakuha mo na kasi ang gusto mo, kaya bumalik ka sa totoo. Tama. Sabi ko, nagbago ka na. Hindi pala. Bumalik na siya sa totoo.
No, kasi we realize na extrovert ka, tapos introvert ako.
Actually, introvert din ako eh. Pero mas sanay ako maging extrovert. For me, dala ng pangangailangan. My dad taught me to be an extrovert.
Wait lang. You're not an introvert.
I am. Because, one way you know if you're an introvert is when you recover, you want to step back. When you want to breathe, you want to be on your own.
So, what am I? Because I really
Ikaw talaga, introvert ka. Ambivert ba? Sabi ni Solana.
Sabi ni Solana. So, you're an ambivert. And I'm a super introvert.
Basta ako, when I want to recover, which is the biggest sign of what you are, I want to be on my own. I have to pray.
I want to be alone for many, many periods.
Ikaw hindi lang when you want to recover. When you want to relax, when you have fun, mas gusto mo talaga.
I recharge when I'm alone.
So yun, doon nagkakaroon ng problema sa personality clashes, di ba? By the way, to the women, ganito rin yan ha. Okay. They also have to know this. Pag nililigawan ka ng isang lalaki, o magiging asawa mo, gagawin niya lahat para makuha ang prize, right? So he will give you flowers, 'di ba? Lahat i-date ka niya. At kuminsan pag mag-asawa na kayo, nagtataka ka, bakit wala na yung flowers? Bakit wala na yung date? Ito na, yung sinabi ko kanina, nagbago ka, hindi ka nakagaya ng dati. Pero to the guy, hindi niya naintindihan yun. Kasi kaya lang naman siya nag-date, kaya lang naman siya nagbigay ng bulaklak ay dahil gusto niyang makuha ang matamis mong oo. So ngayon, bumabalik na siya sa dati. Sa totoo. That's the reality, girls.
Pero there's nothing wrong with that. Kaya lang, syempre, nag-set ka ng expectation dun sa isang tao.
Yun na yun. So dapat naman.
Pala.
So hindi naman dapat bumalik ka sa dati. You also have to change.
That's why it's so important to have pre-marriage counseling.
Doon na naman yon sa norming at sa storming stage na marirealize nyo hindi natin kaya to. Right? We can't do this. We can't.
You have to prepare for these things because they will definitely happen.
That's why puntahan mo yung mga ninong mo, ninang nyo, di ba? Ito yung ginawa ni Chinky, our friend. One of the things that Chinky did before they even got married. Chinkitan, Novetan, is they visited how many couples? At least a dozen siguro. Bago sila ikasal and they got all the advice that they could get. Grabe, talaga. And then, they opened themselves to their ninongs and ninangs, godfathers and godmothers, because they didn't want to do it on their own. So, norming, storming, doon mo na-realize na kailangan mo ng community. Okay, so pinag-uusapan natin ang stages. Napag-usapan na natin ang forming, storming. Ngayon, norming na.
Kanina sabi mo norming.
I meant forming. Sorry, happens,
So, yung first is forming.
Forming.
And then storming.
Bagyo.
And then norming.
Yan,
so,
normalizing.
Yung una, fino-form mo kung ano yung mga guidelines and traditions na gusto ninyong ma-embrace. Number 2, syempre, magkakaroon ng away tsaka mga disagreements
para sa takbo,
you're adjusting.
Ganun din, di ba?
And then third, things will also start to normalize.
Right.
Now, there's a problem with this.
Oh.
One is you'll just take it if you did not go through the processes properly. You'll just take whatever there is.
Yun na yun.
Because you don't want any more chaos in your home. You just want
hassle,
peace. For the sake
diba?
of peace, you will not say anything. So therefore, you are settling. But there's a kind of norming wherein you work things out, throughout the processes in your newly, formed life together, or newly acquired desire to finish one race, it becomes a normal part of your life.
Kasi pag nasa race ka nga, initial nga, excited ka, di ba? And then biglang it hits you, oh my God, grabe yung hill na yon. O totoo na ito. Wala nang backing out ito, di ba? So there's a bit of panic. But then you normalize at one point. And so it is with marriage. So dito, I think, in our case, ito na yung nagkakaroon na tayo ng agreements na may regular dates.
May habits na tayo.
Diba? So Anthony and Maricel will go out every Friday night whether they like each other or not. Diba? Tapos meron ng patterns with the kids.
Yes. Like
Right?
the time they're gonna sleep, the time they're gonna wake up, the time they're gonna be studying,
Saan sila mag-aaral,
saan
diba?
maglalaro.
Ano ang kanilang magiging hobbies. And then ito na, yung engaging with the parents. And then we started something, yung travel, regular travel together. Because I was not used to that, even in my own family. We probably traveled twice or thrice in our lifetime together as a family. But then with you, naging every quarter. Oh my God. Narinig yun ba yung love
The 5
languages?
love languages.
Diba merong, ano ba yan? Acts of service, merong touch, gifts.
Words of encouragement.
Oh, diba may mga ganyan? Si Maricel may bago. Love language, acts of travel.
Yeah.
Yun ang siya lang yun, di ba? And then as you normalize, well, by God's grace, you enter the 4th stage. Ito na, ang performing.
Performing, not acting. Performing means you're leveling up.
Ito na, nagkakaroon ng resulta. Nakikita mo na
Yes.
wow, yung anak ko nagkaroon ng award. Oh my gosh, medyo happy ang mga samahan. Hindi na parating away na lang. You're beginning to see results in
The
your
fruits of
family
your labor.
together, right?
Yan.
And then you're able to celebrate na your 25th wedding anniversary, mga ganyan, di ba? So, performing is when you start seeing the fruits of your labor. Which, by the way, ayaw ko magsalita na nandun na tayo, nalampasan na natin.
Yeah,
di ba?
yeah.
I think every day you have to humble yourself and say, no, there can be more. We can be better. We can move from good to great. So let it be your dream to always have a better life together. Right? So, yung sinabi ni Eddie Garcia na, wag ka lang hanggat second half. Sabi niya sa akin, Anthony, experience joy in your third half. Si Eddie Garcia yan. Ibig sabihin, kahit na 85 na siya, the best is yet to come.
Yes,
Right?
and the best is yet to come to all your families as you go through your races together. Marriage is a marathon. It takes work. Thank you for joining us.
Hindi pa tayo tapos. Ano ka ba? Hindi pa. Can you comment again? So the best is yet to
Tinapos.
The best is yet to come. May morning stage pa eh.
May morning.
Oh.
So na after ka mag-perform.
Okay, so
Okay.
just talk about
So, forming,
Yeah,
storming,
yeah.
norming,
Performing.
performing.
Okay, I said best is yet to come or something. You want to comment on that na maybe legacy? It's not
The
just
best
you,
is yet to
it's your
come. You
children.
know what? The best is yet to come, not only for our lives, but for the next generations to come.
Yes, so ngayon, 'di ba? Tumatanggap na tayo ng donations from our kids.
No, not
Diba?
donations, commissions.
No, seriously, and we're learning from them. This is actually partly produced by our children.
Yes,
This
you
whole
should have seen
podcast.
them kanina. And
They're now
how
members.
we were directed.
They're now members of our business and advocacy board.
Part of our board
Directors
of
na
directors.
sila, diba?
Yes.
So hopefully,
We answer to them.
yes, nananagot na kami sa aming mga anak. And that, we believe, is part of legacy building. But, Han, ha? Okay, bago itong 5th na stage na to, which I think all of us have to accept as a reality. So, from performing, morning. Hindi po umaga. Morning, M-O-U. Ito na yung losses.
Yes.
So, when my dad passed away, di ba? Morning yan. Or ikaw, umiiyak ka nung isang araw dahil
Menopause.
hindi.
Ano?
May umaalis na. O yun na rin. Yun na rin yun.
Oh yeah, so I was crying in the garage because Hannah was gonna go to her halfway home.
Yon. And then, of course, Donnie's out already of the home. But Ella has her own home, right? And Benjamin, her son, is going abroad for school. So, mga empty nesters na.
Almost empty
Ganyan,
nesters because we
right?
still have one. That's why I praise God for a handful of kids.
Yeah.
They are our blessings.
So, expect that in your marriage na magkakaroon ng loss, right? It could be loss of a partner, loss of a parent, loss of presence with your kids. But that's all part. What's important is the memories stay. Ano ba yung sinabi ni Dr. Seuss? Do not be sad that it's gone, but be happy for the fact that you even had some time together.
Oh
Diba?
my goodness.
Celebrate those times together, not the fact that they're now gone and moving forward. So, a few questions for us as we wrap up our episode. Okay. Sabi natin, diba? Ways, the maze, and you'll be amazed. Number 1, what stage are you in? Right? Are you still in the forming, storming ba, norming, performing, or mourning? And what have you accomplished so far? Meron yan, lista ninyo. And then, ang next question, saan ka na papunta? Diba? Ano pa ba ang pinapangarap mo? Right?
O dapat palagi tayong mangangarap?
Yeah, so what stage are you entering and what are you still hoping to accomplish? And finally, the issue of legacy, right? It's always good to ask yourself, what legacy do you want to leave behind? And you don't talk about that towards the end. Ngayon pa lang dapat, you're preparing for it already. Diba? What's this? Sinabi ni Covey, begin with the end
In mind.
in mind. Let us close with this verse, Philippians 3, verse 13-14. Forgetting what lies behind. Kalimutan niyo na yung failure niyo in your previous races, for example. Or maybe how bad you did in the last kilometer. But there's still a few more up ahead. Forgetting what lies behind and straining, stretch pa, toward what is ahead. I press on, sabi ni Paul, toward the goal to win the prize that God has called me heavenward in Christ Jesus, which means keep going. The prize is coming. And God is there in the end, not just in the process, to welcome you home. Thank you very much for joining. Maraming salamat po. This is episode 5 of Marriage is the Marathon, the podcast.
Marriage is a marathon.
Ano masabi ko? Okay. Sige, marriage is a marathon. But you know what? Marriage is also the marathon of our lives.
But the title is Marriage is a Marathon. Marriage is a marathon. Ayan. Marriage is a marathon.
Buti nagtatapos na ang ating episode.
Thank you for joining us
God bless
here
you.
on Marriage is a Marathon. Run it one step at a time.
Bye.
Thank you for joining us for yet another episode of Marriage is a Marathon, the podcast. Run it one step at a time. Thank you so much, Mango, for our outfits for today.
For feedback and suggestions, please comment below. Follow us on our socials, Anthony Pangilinan and Mommy Maricel. See you next podcast. God bless.